On today's episode, we see if this comic can pull off a Christmas miracle and make me care about Thor. I had no idea going in what it was going to be, and by the time I got to the end, I just thought, well, this was terrible, and I need to tell people about it. Nope. Welcome to Haul Yeah Comics. My name is Nate, and I have issues. And today's issue is The Mighty Thor number 444, the old triple quattro. This is a Christmas issue, and I have to admit that I am not a big fan of Thor, like, at all. I mean, Chris Hemsworth in the movies? Sure. The character in Marvel Rivals? Absolutely. But in the comics, I've always found Thor to be a bit stuffy. But I received this issue as a gift from my friend Eric, and I collect Christmas covers. This is a Christmas cover. I read my comics, and I, had a pile of Christmas covers that I was going through, and I decided to give this one a read. And I don't regret it completely. It was not good, but it was weird, and at points it intrigued me enough that I wanted to talk about it. Before we get started though, I do want to warn you that I'm going to spoil the absolute crap out of this book throughout the course of this review and read through, so if this is a book that you want to read, I just want you to be forewarned. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of Thor, but I have to admit I haven't read many of his books, so I don't know much about him as a character. I know he's a Norse god, I know that sometimes he's a human named Donald Blake, so I start to read this. When architect Eric Masterson stamps his wooden walking stick upon the ground, he is transformed into the Norse god of thunder. Armed with his enchanted hammer, he is at once the master of the storm, lord of the living lightning, and one of the strongest warriors who ever walked the earth. Eric Masterson? Who the crap is this? So I do a little bit of research, and this is not, the Norse god regular Thor that you're used to from the Marvel Universe. This is a replacement god. This book is from 1992, and in the 90s they did this thing where they would take their big major tentpole superheroes and have them replaced with lesser known characters. Spider-Man was replaced famously by clones. Batman, after Bane broke his back, was replaced by a murderous psychopath, a different hero named Azrael. Superman, after he was killed by Doomsday, was replaced by, I think a robot, a clone, and two kids in a trench coat. So it was a thing that they did, and I guess they did it with Thor as well. I really wasn't aware of it until I read this issue. And he does end up becoming his own hero called Thunderstrike. And I don't want to judge a book by a cover, but I mean, look at this thing. But you don't hear about these heroes. Like when you're reading books now, these characters didn't last. These kind of stories were just kind of, like attention getters. And they're left in the past probably for a reason. And that doesn't really bode well for our Christmas tale here, does it? This comic credits Tom DeFalco and Ron Frenz as plot, penciler, and script, with Al Milgrom doing the finished art. Michael Heisler is on letters, Mike Rockowitz on colors, and Ralph Macchio on eggnog. The story is titled How the Grunk Stole Christmas, and we get this little note at the bottom that reads, "Respectfully dedicated to Theodore Dr. Seuss Geisel, who brought out the child in us all." Yeah, we're going to come back to that, especially the word respectfully. As we read the opening pages, we find out that the real Thor is banished somewhere, and Thunderpants here is the replacement Thor, and boy does his life suck. His ex-wife is remarried to this He-Man professional football player that keeps his wife and son living in the lap of luxury, a lifestyle he could never provide for them. We also find out that Eric is about to become homeless because he's been evicted from his crappy rundown apartment, and his girlfriend is at the hospital in an unresponsive coma. Top that off with the fact that he can barely afford to give his son the Christmas present that he really wants, and all around the city, people are being robbed of their Christmas gifts. Truly is the most wonderful time of the year. So the first couple pages are like him walking down the street wrapped up in his own whiny melodrama And I mean, just look at this. Like, there's so much exposition and talking, and the snow from the artwork makes it look like a old analog television where you're trying to watch through static or something. It's actually kind of hard for me to focus on the art because of the way these panels are drawn, but it's also hard for me to focus because I'm exhausted by the time I get to the end of the page. He never stops talking or thinking. My old place got trashed and the other tenants think I'm a hazard. There's Susan Austin. I've got to drop by the hospital. I wish I had time to dawdle, but I've got a holiday dinner to prepare for. Poor Susan. She's been used as a pawn by both Loki and Mephisto. My ungrateful in-laws, all because of me. He's just constantly thinking and talking about every aspect of his life, and by the time I get to the bottom of page 3, I'm already exhausted. He is so wrapped up in his own stuff as he's walking down the street. This woman is literally mugged, like pulled into an alley right in front of him, and he doesn't even notice it. And the way he discovers the robbery is kind of funny. Like, he walks up and sees a hat on the ground. He's like, "What the? A hat?" Like, that would be the most weird thing to see in the winter, like a hat. Like, that's what triggered that this woman was robbed. So he has a little exchange. He finds the woman in the alley, and she lets him know that the thief took a present from her, and she's not sure which present it was. And so he goes chasing after the thief, but he loses the thief. And when he loses the thief, he has this moment where he's like, "Captain America would definitely toss me off the Avengers if he ever heard about this fiasco, and I couldn't blame him." I mean, that's a little harsh. Like, you mess up one mission and Cap's gonna throw you off the team? But that's the character of Eric Masterson. The glass is always half broke. I think it's a little extreme. New Thor's something of a drama queen. So after losing the thief, he checks in with the local police, and while there, that's where we learn this plot point that the thief, the Christmas bandit, the Christmas thief, he's only stealing one present from each person that he robs. So a little bit of an odd MO, but you know, this story is just a little bit odd too. So Eric changes from Thor back to himself and continues on his journey to his ex-wife's new apartment with her new husband, where he is made to feel like both physically and spiritually small because this guy's enormous. Number one, he's a professional football player, and number two, their house is stacked to the ceiling with presents and luxuries, things that, you know, he, like I said, he could barely afford to buy this racetrack thing that his kid wanted. He's just there and he just feels like crap. Like, they know that he needs a place to stay, and the wife's like, "Well, you could stay here with us." You know, the last thing he wants to do. He gives his son the gift that he bought for him, and then they have this awkward exchange about the word dope. "The Super Jammers was really dope." Dope? Neat to someone from your generation. I mean, who talks like this? Eric barely stays at all, like drops off the gift. It's like one page that he stays to visit with his son for Christmas and give him the gift. And then he totally like pieces out. "I've got to get going. Not without trying my special eggnog made from a low cholesterol, vitamin enhanced, non-alcoholic formula. Maybe next time, Steele." Maybe never, Steele. No thanks. Blech. Eggnog. So Eric's feeling super low, super bad about himself, and he decides that the only thing that's gonna make him feel better, the only thing that's gonna make this night worth it, is catching this Christmas thief. You know, not figuring out his housing situation, not working on his relationship with his son. No, he needs to solve this petty crime that he just learned about 20 minutes ago. He even points out how stupid it is for Thor to be going after a mugger. He says something along the lines of, it's like using a nuclear weapon against a housefly. So, you know, it's dumb to do, so of course he does it. He starts flying around the city looking for this mugger haphazardly. Thanks to the plot point of convenience, he happens upon yet another mugging. And in the mugging, we get another kind of funny exchange. The way that people talk in this is pretty ridiculous. The guy's walking down the street and he's talking about how he can write off all these gifts as a tax deduction. "Based on my understanding of the current tax codes, every one of these gifts should be fully deductible. Of course, I'll have to document all of the receipts," and it's just good writing. Substitute Thor says something about his perseverance paying off. Like, he just learned about the crime. He just changed back into Thor and started flying around for like 10 minutes and he stumbles upon the crime, but his perseverance paid off. I mean, he turned into Thor 2 panels ago and just lucked into this mugging. He decides he's gonna like dive bomb this mugger to try to scare him because again, he knows that he's too powerful to be taking on just a regular mugger, and he hysterically gets shot in the back with some kind of laser. And in case you missed that, he lets you know, something's striking me from behind. It's so laughably bad, but it's so much fun too. Whatever hit me also managed to sap all my strength. I suddenly feel weak as a kitten. How typical. My one moment of arrogance and I land flat on my big fat, oh my gosh. Up next, we get a splash page revealing what the cover to this comic promised would be. The most shocking super foe of all. It's the Grunk. He looks like a steroid-ridden Grinch, right? He's green, he's wearing the Santa outfit, the hat, the whole thing. And all he ever says throughout the entire comic is his own name. The only word he utters is Grunk. But don't worry, Thunderpants has all the dialogue covered. Even on the splash page, he's got 3 damn word balloons. That's no fright mask. This guy is for real. He must be some kind of freak or mutant. And based on the way he's dressed, I'd say someone has a real sick sense of humor. So Grunk never gets a word in edgewise, Thor never stops talking, and they have themselves a big old fight. Eventually, they end up taking their super battle into the mall, where I actually did laugh out loud a few times at the dialogue that was written for the shoppers at the mall. Again, like the people getting mugged, the tax deduction guy, the lady who didn't know which present got stolen, and then these shoppers who don't want to leave the mall even though it's literally being torn down by a monster in front of them, but their reaction is, "But I still have purchases to make. We can't leave until we finished our shopping. Look, there's a cashier without a line." Now that's the American consumer that I know. Merry Christmas, y'all. Next, we get a basically pointless one-page interlude with these 2 characters who I have no idea who they are. Obviously somebody in Eric's like friend circle, maybe a romantic interest, and a friend that lives at the apartments. I don't know. But these 2 friends are then approached by a figure shown only in shadowy silhouette who looks a lot like Captain America, but I mean, it can't be Captain America, can it? It is totally Captain America. There's no twist here. Like, I was sure that they're showing this and maybe it's gonna be the Patriot, or, you know, maybe it's another character, like we're being led to believe that it's gonna be Cap, but no, it was 100% Cap in the end. I'm sorry, spoiler. It was just a weird choice to like show something so obvious, but try to hide it for no good reason. But that jives really well with the rest of this book. So back to the fight. Grunk has had absolutely enough of new Thor and his wordy fisticuffs, so Grunk throws an escalator at him. And just as we're about to have new Thor taken out of our misery, the arrival of another character calms Grunk down. It's this little doggy with an antler tied to his head, respectfully dedicated to Theodore Dr. Seuss Geisel, which apparently means we're just ripping off all your character designs for no good reason. And we're not done doing that either. Grunk and the dog head for the sewers, but hot in pursuit is Captain Never Shuts Up, who never shuts up. "Hi, remember me? You left me stranded on the dance floor without a partner. I haven't been this disappointed with a date since the time cute little Millie Sharif got drunk and tossed her cookies in the backseat of my old man's new car." That's a weird story to be telling in the middle of a super battle. "You know, pal, you just made a bad day even worse. Chasing you into the sewer is one experience I would have preferred to live without. Of course, there's an advantage to fighting down here. No more innocent bystanders for you to threaten. You're real lucky that I don't have to pay dry cleaning bills on this costume. Unfortunately for you, I'm a man with something to prove. You made me look like a dope tonight." There's that word again. "Any more foul-ups and Captain America could bounce me like a bad check. That means you're gonna greet the floor like an old friend. Nuff said." I wish he never shuts up. Thor gets dogpiled by this mysterious group trying to keep him from further injuring the Grunk. Thunderpants lifts his hammer. He's ready to bust some heads open. "I'm tired of playing the punching bag. The next person who tries to manhandle me is gonna make his dentist a very rich man. Someone obviously didn't get the message. I hear you sneaking behind me and... Oh no, I don't believe it. Who are you?" So Thor's got his hammer up, right? I mean, he is ready to knock the teeth out of whoever it is that snuck up behind him. And who is it? It's a child named Cindy Lou, and she's holding the dog from earlier, whose name is Max, because this is respectfully dedicated to Theodore Dr. Seuss Geisel. The face Thor makes right before he's ready to mess up this little girl with his hammer is hysterical to me. There's 3 or 4 panels throughout this book where he's got this look of like abject, absolute terror on his face, and it doesn't really match the emotion of what the scenes are portraying. So it just adds to this like disjointedness that I truly did enjoy. We learn that these folks who are trying to protect the Grunk are looking out for him, that they're all homeless and living in the sewers. He is sort of like their protector, but, you know, in return, they look out for him. Little Cindy Lou Not Who read Grunk a picture book about Christmas, and because he's the way he is, he decided that he wanted to give the people in the sewer the kind of Christmas that was in that book. So he's out there robbing Christmas presents from people, and he put a tree down there and he's dressed as Santa. I mean, the reason he was stealing Christmas presents is because he's just a big dumb softy, and that's actually kind of sweet. The sewer folk tell substitute Thor, they're like, we don't even want the presents. We told him not to do this, but you know, we couldn't get through to him. He did it anyway. Please don't take him to jail. We'll return all the presents. They just want Thor to let Grunk be. And what I thought was really funny is one of the guys says that Grunk will never survive jail. Like, really? I mean, what do you mean he'll never survive jail? He's an 8-foot tall monster full of Christmas muscle. He went toe to toe with Thor. I think he'll do just fine. That doesn't make any sense. So the last panel on this page shows Eric in this like dark grimace trying to decide what he should do. Could he be learning a lesson here, like the true meaning of Christmas? Well, no. There's no lesson. We're not learning anything. This is just bad. I mean, the right thing to do would be that there are people and a monster and a child and a dog living in the sewers, and you could get them some help. You're an Avenger. Surely you can find a way to provide some support to them, to help them out and get them back on their feet. But nope. Next page, Eric goes to see his girlfriend in the hospital who's in a coma. And maybe it's not his girlfriend, I don't know. They don't say one way or another. There was another girl earlier who seemed like maybe she was a romantic interest. Maybe it's a whole love triangle thing, who knows. But here's what I do know. He cares about this woman, he's visiting her in the hospital. And while he's visiting her and whining incessantly, she wakes up. Probably because she wants him to stop talking. I mean, to be honest, that's all any of us want for Christmas now. It's like, having read this, I just want him to shut up. So when the woman wakes up from her coma, the doctors and nurses, they all proclaim it's a miracle, and you know, it would be. And then one of the doctors says, God bless us all, everyone. Respectfully misquoted and dedicated to Charles Dickens. So it's been a long night. Eric leaves the hospital, and that's when we finally meet up with Captain America. It's revealed that it was Captain America because it was clearly Captain America, no question. And Cap offers Eric, he says, I heard you don't have a place to stay. You can bunk at Avengers Mansion for no charge. And it's through their conversation that we learn what happened with the sewer people and Grunk and Thor. And I mean, wasn't that the whole point of the issue, right? I mean, how the Grunk stole Christmas, this guy was stealing Christmas presents, we had all these crazy subplots going on where nothing led to anything, but the main story, the main conflict, we don't get to see how it ended. It's all wrapped up in this dialogue as like an aside, and I think that's kind of insulting. What we learn is that Eric recovered the presents that the Grunk stole, but he wouldn't tell the police anything about who stole them or why they stole them. And because of that, Cap says he questions Eric's judgment as a hero. Why would Eric not, tell Cap why he did what he did? Why would he not trust him with that information? You think Cap doesn't want to help homeless kids? What is this story? And in the end, Cap tells Eric he has the potential to be one of the greatest Avengers of all time. Doubt. In my opinion, the most important piece of the story, the conflict, is just kind of wrapped up off screen, and we never get to see what happened to the Grunk or these people. We don't know if or how they're being helped. What are we doing here? So I guess in the end, nothing is resolved. Eric returns home to his crappy apartment, still sad sacking the whole way, thinking, talking out loud, just being as melodramatic as he can. And when he gets home, we get another one of those great shots where he's making a face like he just found a refrigerator full of severed heads, not what actually is on the other side of the door, which is an impromptu Christmas party organized by his son. And that's it. Like, they eat some food and they put their arms around each other and they look at the Christmas tree and it's over. What was the point? We don't learn what happens to the Grunk, like what he was. We don't learn how the people that he was trying to help end up. They're just kind of left. Everything is just left dangling. Why does the Grunk exist at all? Seriously. If you're gonna respectfully dedicate a story, and use characters that are just absolutely copied, why not, take some of that story element? Eric was an insufferable ass through this entire issue. And by the time we got to the end, I thought he was gonna learn the true meaning of Christmas, learn what really mattered. But no, like, he got this party and his friends were there, but there was just no realization for him. There was no enlightenment. It was just poorly constructed. The story of the Grinch is great. The idea that this character, this just disgustingly hateful character, learns that what's most important is the connections that we have with each other. It's not material objects. It's not the materialism of Christmas. It's the emotion of Christmas. And if they wanted to parallel that story in this, that could have actually been really smart, because the character of Eric is so annoyingly sad sacky through the entire thing. He's so down on everything. And to be fair, he has so much Marvel melodrama thrown at him. Of course he's going to be feeling the weight of that, but it should have ended with some kind of realization, some kind of awakening, some kind of lesson where he realizes what's most important in his life. We didn't get that. The only thing we got was this bizarre copy of Dr. Seuss's Grinch characters within a story of Thor, who's also a copy of a Thor character. So I guess you could argue that this whole thing was like a meta experiment, but I just don't think it's that clever. We really should have had this moment where he learns to focus on what's important in his life. But instead, we just get a party with a bunch of people we've never seen before, and some of which have some very bizarre names. It's Ed Marino, everybody. He's Kevin's teacher. And I'm Samantha Joyce, Aloysius Jamesley, and Harry Cleese. So this is like a 2 out of 10, man. I mean, it just was not good. I could maybe give it a barely passing score of a D- as a story. Now, my enjoyment of it, actually, because of the absurdity and just how bizarre it was, is probably more in the C+, B- range. And it's just something that I had no idea going in what it was going to be. And by the time I got to the end, I just thought, well, this was terrible, and I need to tell people about it. I decided I was going to make it my Christmas read through this year. It was really badly good, or goodly bad. I don't know which. I appreciate you sticking around to the end of this one. I hope you've had, or will have, or are having right now, depending on when you're watching this, a very Merry Christmas. I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. My name is Nate, and I have issues. Sounded more like I have issues. Try that again. When architect Eric Masterson stomps. Could I read that any worse? Loud ass truck out there. So, Captain America would definitely toss me off the Avengers if he ever heard about this fiasco. Fiasco? Jesus, Nate. So back to the fight. Groot has had absolutely enough of new Thor and his wordy dialogue and I appreciate you sticking around to the end of this one. Please give the video a comment. It's way over the top, and it's funny. It made me laugh.